Hi, everybody. I'm Jackie with Jackie's Recent Things. I hope y'all are having a great day, and I hope you're going to enjoy this tutorial. Today, I'm going to show you how I do the angel wings on the Unique in the Creek angel board. Now, what I'm going to do, because the zip tie placement is different, I'm going to hold this up to the camera long enough for y'all to get a screenshot on the zip tie placement. So let me hold that up here. Give y'all a few minutes to get your screenshot. Let me hold it up pretty close so y'all can see. And now I'm going to hold the complete zip tie placement so y'all can get your screenshots. So what I'm going to show y'all how to do is use 21-inch mesh and 10-inch mesh to make an elongated angel wing. The original tutorial that I did on this, I used fabric mesh. This time I'm using just a snowball mesh, and it actually works out pretty good. But with your mesh, you'll have to do a little bit of training when you're done with it and leave it sitting overnight, because regular mesh does curl a little bit. So what you're going to want to do to train it is you're going to want to sit something pretty heavy on it. And what I did is I have a quilt ruler to make sure that everything was sitting the way that I wanted it to with the wing, and I sat this on there. That way I know my wings are the way that I want it to. And then I just took something pretty heavy and sat that on there to train the wing. So you can have different techniques, but that's just, part of using regular mesh because it does curl. Of course, a fresh roll, you won't have such a problem. So you're going to need 21-inch mesh and 10-inch mesh to do this. The 21-inch mesh, you're going to need to cut 10 pieces, 21 inches long. The 10-inch mesh, you're going to need to cut the full roll, 10 inches. So the fold is a little bit different. We're going to use two different folds, one for the 21-inch mesh and one for the 10-inch mesh. And the way that we're going to put our mesh in is a little bit different. As you can see, I've started one side, so we're just going to do the other side. That way you didn't have to watch me do it twice. So here's our mesh, and I used fabric mesh. Now, fabric mesh is a little bit easier to do this with, but I wanted to try and show y'all you can do it with the regular mesh. So we're going to go ahead and you're going to fold in a corner. And then you're going to bring the other corner opposite and fold it in. So see how that rolls quite a bit. That's one of the downsides to using your regular poly mesh, is that it doesn't fold as well as the fabric mesh. There's a little bit of a fight with it. So once we fold corner to corner, we're going to fold these two together. Make sure you're going corner to corner. And your fold is like this. You're going to fold it over one more time. Now I'm going to pull the outside to elongate it past and to give it kind of a nice little rounded shape. We're going to ruffle this up. So this is the look that you end up having with your mesh. Now the way that I'm going to put this in is going to put the smooth and rounded side to the outside. So if you don't seal your mesh, a lot of people heat seal their mesh, so if you don't, then you don't have to worry about it. So the zip ties that are running this way is the ones we're going to start in on. And like I said, we're just going to do 5 pieces, but we're doing a gradual, which you will see as I place these in. So I'm going to grab corner to corner and do the fold, which as you can see is just like a little bit difficult. And I'll make sure to get my hat out of the way next time. Sorry about that. I just caught that my hat was dipping in. It was hard to see. So we're going to ruffle that up. We're going to pull this one on out. Just one. The outside one. And then the next one that we're going to lay in, we're going to go up a little bit further. Because we want these to shorten. So I'm going halfway between zip ties this time. And that's just kind of what I created for my invisible guideline. Keep my hat out of the way this time. So I'm going to grab my corner. Corner to corner. Fold it over, corner to corner. And then fold it over one more time. Pull this to elongate it, and then ruffle, ruffle, ruffle. Now this time I'm going to go all the way up to the next zip tie with putting my mesh in. Once again. And I'm going to grab the fabric mesh really quick so I can show you one more time how to do this fold. Like I said, it's a little bit easier. So I'm going to grab the fabric mesh here in a second, and I'll show you one last time how to do this fold, because it is easier to do with the fabric mesh. But this might be a mesh that you have laying around in 21 inch, and since it doesn't take that much 21 inch mesh to do this, you can use a leftover roll. Said I'm just pulling on the outside piece only. To do that, ruffle, ruffle. Now this time I'm actually going to go up into the other zip tie. Because remember, we're going further and further up each time. So this one's actually going to go up into this zip tie and about halfway. Last time. Fold it over, corner to corner. Fold it again, corner to corner. And then fold it over, pull the one outside piece only. Ruffle, ruffle, ruffle. And now when you put this one in, it's going to stick out pretty far past. Because what you're trying to do is shorten this as you go. So it has a very tapered look, as you can see. So I'm going to crank that down really good and then cut it off. Because what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut all this excess off the edge and get it out of the way. Just like that. So now really quick, let me go over the fold one more time. We're going to use the fabric mesh because it's easier to demonstrate it with the fabric mesh. So let me grab my roll here. Said this is 21 inches So I'm just going to do a quick little cut here of 21 inches. So with the fabric mesh, it's easier. Go corner to corner. Corner to corner. See how nice that lays? It doesn't fight with you as much. And then you fold over. Corner to corner. Just like so. Then you fold it over again. And then you ruffle. Just like that. Okay? Now, moving on, we're going to go on to the 10-inch mesh. So the 10-inch mesh, we're going to use a little bit different technique. We're going to go to a standard, pretty standard technique, and we're just going to go corner to corner. Ruffle it up, corner to corner. Fold your tips in. If it's curling that way, that's your way. And what I do when I fold it over is I want to make sure that my tip is longer on the top side. So now you'll just start laying your board out like you typically would. Corner to corner. Ruffle, fold it in. Sometimes you might accidentally do like I did, and I caught my zip tie, and I was pretty careful in my other zip ties, but we got it, and I'm trying to go the wrong way for some reason, because I switched hands, I think, to get the zip tie out. Corner to corner, lay it over. Then turn it in. So as you can see, you preload the board, y'all. It goes really quick after that to do this. And to me, doing this goes away from the butterfly look, and you get the more elegant angel wing look. Now, the creator of the Unique in the Creek boards is Lori Franklin. To get more tips and tricks on how to use these boards, you can follow her on Facebook and her YouTube channel. I don't typically do tutorials on these boards unless I know it's something that Lori hasn't done. Because she has hundreds of tutorials available. Ruffle, ruffle, ruffle. Fold it over. Notice I'm not concerned about how much I have back here. It's pretty wide. I'm not concerned about it being even. I'm just concerned about my top piece going over the bottom one. Now you can actually spray mesh with things that stop it from fraying. You can spray it with acrylic spray, things like that. There's all different kinds of things that you can use. See how that rolls up like that? That's why I don't do it that way, because it's easier to unroll it this way. I get rocking and rolling along, y'all, and I have a bad habit of forgetting to cut my zip ties. But by the time I lay the first piece every time, I remember, so it's not that bad. Zip, 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 and we're just about done. And then I want to specifically point out, once again, the zip tie placement for the center, because we're going to go to a more shared hole. So I want to show you that. So let me point this out before we do the last holes. So to keep this going left to right, I didn't want to round this down. So to get more mesh in, I did a shared hole. Let me hold this up here so you can really see it. So here's the center, and then this shares and this shares for 3 more pieces of mesh, okay? Now you can go further with the mesh if you want to, but you really don't have to, because in the center of my angel wings, I'm going to put a rag bow. See what I'm talking about training your wings? You're kind of going to have to train those down a little bit. So using a rag bow or any kind of bow, you're going to set that down in your wreath to finish out your look for your Unique in the Creek angel wings. Like I said, you can take these, overlap them, like so. Which this is one of the downside to using this type of mesh. You're going to have to train it just a little bit to get the shape. And like I said, if you use a heat tool to cut, you'll have something clear. So I'm going to lay my clear ruler on top. That way I know my wing placement is the way that I want it. And then I'm going to lay something heavy on it to train it. The other thing that you can do with this mesh before you even start making this is you can just lay the mesh flat the day before, train and put something heavy on it to train it the day before to lay it. So if you're going to actually make a lot of these, you can cut the mesh the day in advance and go ahead and get it flat so that it's usable, and then you don't have to mess with the training. But if this is something that you're trying, you're going to have to train it just a little bit. So there's different ways and different techniques that you can use. I prefer the fabric mesh, but this still turned out just as beautiful as using the fabric mesh, and it does have just a little bit more body and personality than the fabric mesh. So thank y'all so much for joining me. I hope y'all enjoyed this tutorial. I'm Jackie with Jackie's Recent Things. See y'all next time. Bye.